Hey, welcome to Ken's Games Collection. Now, I don't talk much about Sega Saturn games on the channel, although I should be because I absolutely loved the Sega Saturn back in the day. Yes, it wasn't as powerful as the original PlayStation. There was things going wrong. There was lack of third-party support. I guess people saw the Saturn as a machine that could only do 2D graphics, and I think even the Sega developers had a hard time getting their head around the 3D aspect of the architecture of the Saturn. But eventually they got there. They released some great games, and I had a great collection. I had Burning Rangers. I had Panzer Dragoon RPG. Those games now are insane in price on eBay. And years ago, I thought, okay, I wanted to rebuild the collection, and that's all I did. I just said it, and I forgot about it. And when I got serious again about it, I thought, okay, I'm going to do this. Started looking at prices of games. $300, $400, $500, $600 for a game. I'm locked out of it, unfortunately. And I thought, how am I going to try to rebuild this collection? And I've gone down the path of reproduction games. Again, it's the cheap alternative. I don't have a problem with this sort of stuff. Now, for me to buy off of Etsy from UK, USA, or some other places in the world, the postage is actually more than the cost of the product you're buying. And luckily for me, Enigma Custom cases here in Australia that I bought from before. I bought custom covers for Nintendo Switch, PS4, PS5, whatever I need. Hey Nick, I need a custom case. He'll do it. He does a great job. And he's been doing Sega Saturn stuff. Big boxes, the American big boxes, because we never got those over here in Australia. We got these sort of game cases. And I was like, man, this is the perfect opportunity for me to rebuild this collection. So I'm going to go through and show you what I got. And I just think it's a really good way to rebuild a collection that is just overpriced and out of reach of normal gamers like ourselves that are wanting to rebuild our stuff from that era. So we'll have a look and show you what I picked up one by one. Okay, so this was the very first custom case I got, Christmas Nights into Dreams. I just wanted to see how I felt about these big box cases because I haven't seen them before here in Australia. Like I said, these were, I think, exclusively for America, and it was the unknown. And it turns out I really do like these boxes. Now I'm really digging the artwork in Christmas Nights into Dreams. It really captures the spirit of Nights into Dreams with the Christmas themes. And on the back we have some artwork from the game itself. We have Enigma Custom cases logo on the left hand side, and overall I was really happy with this product. Now with these big box reproduction cases, I've seen on other YouTube channels people buying different cases out there. Some are really flimsy. I know Nick really did a thorough test of these particular boxes that he got. I can't really say too much about it because these are the only ones I've seen, but so far they're pretty strong, they're sturdy. I have had no problems with them at all. For multi-disc games, there's actually sleeves that you can purchase also to go into the big boxes. So there are games out there that does take more than one disc. And this was the reason why I wanted the big box Christmas Nights into Dreams, so I could put the actual disc in there. This was a giveaway back in the day from Sega at Christmas time. It was just such a cool thing to get. You don't see that sort of stuff anymore, and that's what I really wanted. A proper home for Christmas Nights into Dreams. Here's another great reason for collecting Saturn games. Japanese Saturn games that never got released here in the West have been fan translated. Asuka 120% Limited is one of those games that only was released in Japan. We never had it. It's actually a 2D fighting game. And when I saw this on Enigma Custom cases, I thought, okay, I wanted to do a little bit of research. I watched some gameplay. I thought, this is cool. This is different. I think I would like it. Now, you have a lot of options when you want to buy these things. You can buy the cases, which is $10 US. You can buy the front cover, which is like $5. The back cover, I think it's $5 as well. And then there's the game disc, the reproduction game disc, which some of the games he does have, you can get them. So the artwork on the game disc looks really cool as well. you would need a cartridge that goes into the cartridge slot on the Saturn to play repro games, but that's really cheap to find. Shining Force 3, I loved this series back in the day. I did have these games originally, and just looking at this stuff now, I can think back to when I had the original Saturn collection. I pretty much sold it off, I think, to the Dreamcast stuff, but I had about 30 of the best games on the Saturn, and I don't know if I'm going to try and rebuild that collection. I've made a list, and I don't know if I'm going to stick to it because already I've got stuff that's not on this list, but it's a great option and a great way to collect for it, and I can't wait to I've got to track down that Saturn, but the Shining Force 3 cover looks great as well. There's some of these games I do have manuals with. They were custom orders that I did. There's stuff that's on the website that you can get. I was always fascinated with Police Knots back in the day. It was a Kojima game, and I knew about it from looking in various magazines. Back then we didn't really have the internet. It was still in its infancy. So, I was still looking at magazines and stuff, especially Japanese magazines. And it would take 20 years for this game to be patched in English. So a perfect opportunity for me to pick this up. Once I get the Saturn, I can't wait to try this game out because it's got such a rich history. This game was released on the 3DO, PlayStation, and the Sega Saturn, and is considered to be the best port. So I'm really happy to actually finally have this game that I knew about all those decades now in my Saturn collection, and it has got the 3 discs. Castlevania Symphony of the Night, we all know about this game. Prices of this is crazy. Again, this was a Japanese only release, I believe. Symphony of the Night is considered to be one of the most influential and greatest video games ever made. It's been praised for its gameplay, the soundtrack, and the visuals, and it's just got a huge cult following over the years. And my first Castlevania game was Super Castlevania 4 on the Super Nintendo. It has some really nice artwork on the back cover there. I need to talk more about the actual cases and stuff. I did pay the extra money on this one to get the manual as well as the disc. So I was really happy with the quality of the manual. Everything inside is all in black and white, but it's a good quality for what it is. Don't forget, these games are going back a long time, and to hunt this stuff down, like the manuals, is really hard. Then you have to reproduce them, which is even harder to try and get that all right as well. Shining the Holy Ark. Now this is one of those games which I wanted Enigma Custom cases to make for me, with the manual, the reproduction disc, everything. So when you add up everything, I think it would have cost me maybe $35 for this complete package, which is pretty good. When you go on eBay and start looking at prices of this game, ranging from $300 through $400 up to $572 for the original game. And it's just insane to see the Saturn prices go up so much. I know there's a lot of people out there wanting to collect for it. It really is out of reach of a lot of us, and this is why I'm doing this with reproductions. So this does come with a manual. I don't think I'll show manuals for everything. I just like on the fact that at the back of this one you can see the Sonic Jam advertising. And talking about Sonic, here's Sonic R. This was a crazy little game. It's a racing game. It kind of has the vibe of Mario Kart, but it's not. And the thing that stands out for me with this game is the music in it. I just loved the music in this game back in the day. The gameplay was okay from what I remember. This is going back a lot of years, and it was one of those games that I knew if I was going to recollect for the Saturn, it was something that I really wanted to get back in the collection. So again, I hit up Nick and I said, this is what I want. I think I sent him a list of 6 games, which you're going to see here, of what I wanted, and I gave him a couple of weeks to get it all done for me, all shipped to me, and I was really happy with it. And yeah, I'm at the stage now where I'm really happy with what I'm looking at getting in the future as well from Enigma Custom cases. And I gotta say, I've been really happy with the artwork on the game discs themselves. I think it looks great. I think some of it is actually very close to the original. I can't remember about Sonic R though. I thought it'd be really cool to get the USA version of Tomb Raider, although I got the PAL release of it. I thought, okay, I want to do this just because I've got these other games. I'm probably going to do the same with Nights in the Dreams, but it's hard to believe this very first Tomb Raider game was released on the Saturn first before the PlayStation, at least here in the PAL territories, and we wouldn't see another Tomb Raider game on a Sega machine until the Dreamcast with Tomb Raider The Last Revelation, then Chronicles. And I did spend a little bit extra money because I wanted to get the manual as well. So I just thought it was really cool. I love the artwork and the back cover of this one. Sometimes a killer body just isn't enough. I love that catchphrase there that they put on the US version, which I don't think we got that on the PAL one. But that's really cool. And this is actually what the artwork looks like on the original disc. So Nick has kept to what the artwork looks like on this thing, which I don't know if I really like it, but that's what it is. And a couple of pages here from the manual that I paid for as well. I really wanted to have this one as well, so I thought, okay, I'll spend a little bit. Now, if I remember correctly, The Legend of Oasis was released over here in the PAL territory as The Story of Thor 2. It's an action role-playing game developed by Ancient, who was working on some of the 8-bit titles for the Sega Master System, including Streets of Rage, Sonic the Hedgehog, I think it was Streets of Rage 2. And you may remember the prequel, Beyond Oasis, was released on the Genesis/Mega Drive. And I gotta say, I think I do prefer the title, The Story of Thor 2, than The Legend of Oasis. It's got like a Legend of Zelda ring to it. And I guess that's what they're trying to do with the US release. I also got the manual for this one. On the back there you can see Panzer Dragoon 2 and Golden Axe. Really? Was Golden Axe actually released on the Saturn? I don't remember that. KO Flying Squadron 2 is one of my favorite games back in the day on the Saturn. And when I was looking at prices on eBay for this particular game, I think the highest I've seen it was going for like $900 from Germany. The average price I'm gauging on eBay is about $500 to $600 for this game. So I'm really quite happy to pay the $30 plus, I think it was, to get this reproduction game, because it is a fantastic game. And if you never played it, check out some gameplay footage on YouTube. It's just a bizarre, quirky Japanese game, which I really love, and is so happy to have this game, even though it's a repro, back in the collection. And the artwork on this particular disc is way better than the original artwork on the actual original games themselves, so I'm really happy with that. Okay, so as I'm filming this now, I'm looking on eBay at prices of the original games, and Magic Knight Ray Earth, I can't believe this is selling on eBay. I was trying to sell on eBay. The highest I've seen is for $1,200. I don't remember playing this game back in the day, so I'm guessing this must be one of the rarer games, one of the more popular games as well. So when I was doing research on, okay, what games I want to get in the Saturn, I went on various websites looking at top 20s, top 40s, and top 50s and all that sort of stuff. And this one was always popping up in the list. So Nick had already done this particular one, and the actual manual is all in cover. And I think that's the first time I've seen him do that for some of the Saturn games he has on there. So of course I was going to grab it. I did pay a little bit more for it because it is in color. You got to realize that you pay you're going to pay more no matter what, but I was really happy to get it. And when you look at the prices of the original stuff for $1,200, it's just like, man, this is just insane how much this Sega Saturn market has gone. Because back in the day when the Dreamcast came out with that next generation, seriously, you could walk into a secondhand store and pick up these games dirt cheap. And gradually over the years, they've just gone up to where we are now, $1,200 for this game on eBay. Seriously? Burning Rangers would have been the last game I bought for the Saturn. Everything was falling apart for Sega back then. And this game was like, if you pre-ordered it here in Australia, you were guaranteed you were going to get it. I remember being told that Sega Aussiesoft was only going to bring in enough copies of Burning Rangers to cover pre-orders and maybe a few others just to have it on the shelves. And that was it. So over here would have made it a very rare game to find because of that fact. So I like the idea of Burning Rangers. It is a very flawed game from what I remember. There's some really bad collision in it. It is one of the last 7 games to be released on the Sega Saturn, and it was really showing that no matter how creative Sonic Team and Yuki Naka was, the hardware was really letting them down. Then we would just see the release of the Dreamcast. That was really amazing, but I feel, the damage was already done with the Sega Saturn, and we would see the demise of the Dreamcast, which I think to this day is one of the best consoles ever made. But that's a whole different story altogether. So that's the games I picked up from Enigma Custom Cases. I think he's doing a phenomenal job, and this is a really cheap alternative than paying $600 for one game on the Saturn. I may move on to Dreamcast next. It has to be reproduction games as well. That's just the reality of the market. I don't have a problem doing this sort of stuff as long as sellers state that these are reproduction games and don't sell them off as originals. And Nick doesn't do that. He's got his Enigma Custom Case logo on the back of each game, so it's what it is. So I'm happy with that. So yeah, Dreamcast in 2024. Be ready, Nick. I got a list of stuff I want from you, mate. So yeah, I'll leave a link down to his site down below in the description. Have a look for yourself. It's really a cheap alternative for us here in Australia, I feel. And any of you out there in Australia looking to rebuild a Saturn collection, hit him up. He'll take really good care of you. So that's pretty much it for now. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you next time, guys. Bye.